So I have a baby now. The last few videos I've posted I filmed whilst I was pregnant, and this is my first video filming as a mom, which is still something like very ridiculous to say out loud. Like, I am a mom, like I have a whole being depending on me. As the title says, this is all about my birth, and I thought to share my story because it's not the most positive birth story, and I think I wish I knew some of the things I went through beforehand. If this could help anyone out there, then I'm just gonna put my story out there, and hopefully if you're gonna go through this situation, if you're gonna go through induction with the NHS, hopefully this is the story for you. Spoiler alert, everything is good now. I am basically recovered. Baby was born perfectly normal and healthy, but we did go through some struggles, and I'm just gonna share it all with you. I will be posting more details about my trimesters in other videos, so please subscribe if you want to see that. But basically, during my pregnancy, I was diagnosed on my second trimester with gestational diabetes. I can make a whole video about gestational diabetes because this is about the birth, but it's important to know I did have gestational diabetes, and one of the last scans, they thought the baby is a bit too big. He was growing a bit too fast, and with that, he could be a bit too big to come out naturally. So the team at the hospital recommended me to have an induction. Then on my third trimester, at exactly 38 weeks, I called the hospital because I had some symptoms that I needed to, double check with them, and it came out that I did have a liver issue that usually happens in the last trimester of pregnancy. The liver issue is called intrahepatic cholestasis of pregnancy. So basically what happens, long story short, it can kill your baby. Your liver, it's like producing something, and it can lead to stillbirth. So when you have this, they recommend you to induce. My condition was very light, so they said we could wait another week. So instead of, inducing me at 38 weeks, we could wait till 39 weeks, but they wouldn't recommend more than that. Obviously, with these two things happening, I was like, we definitely need to be induced. So yeah, I got to the hospital at 39 weeks pregnancy. We were scheduled to go in the afternoon, and when we got there, we go to a ward that people that go to be induced, and in that ward there was no one there. We did have a couple joining us just a few hours later, but then the lady basically went to labor straight away. She went to the labor ward. I don't know what happened, but she came back midway through the night. Whilst I was asleep, I woke up with her coming back. So that happened, and eventually the ward got completely full, like by Friday. So we went on a Thursday. By Friday evening, the ward was completely full of people. So just bear that in mind. You can be lucky to have a ward that's basically empty, or it could be that it's basically full, and it can get empty and full throughout your stay in the hospital. Once you're there, they will bring you food. They basically bring you like a menu for like dinner and lunch. For breakfast, you have like a little kitchenette type of thing where you go and can make your own breakfast for free as well. But yeah, they give you lunch and dinner, nothing for your partner. So my partner had to sleep in a recliner, or you could just go home if you wanted to. He doesn't get a bed, and my baby's crying. So yeah, so your partner doesn't get the free food. We did have a canteen that my partner could go and eat at, and you could also just get out and get some food. So once you get there, like, they'll explain everything to you, how the induction goes and everything. So basically, to me, they started with inserting a strip. It's literally a strip. It looks like a shoelace thingy, but much smaller, but it's like that thin. They put it in your cervix, I believe. So basically my cervix was only 1 centimeter dilated, so I had already had some sweeps prior. I believe I had 3 sweeps prior to this, because we were trying to, you know, induce labor as naturally as possible. So yeah, I had 3 sweeps, and my cervix was always just 1 centimeter dilated maximum. So they inserted the strip, which has like a hormone that will supposedly like to open your cervix and tell your body, you know, it's time to give birth, basically. It hurts like hell. I will say I did not expect it, because it's a very thin thing. So it's not the insertion of it that hurts, it's, I think, the chemical that is in there, like the hormones. It burned. They do it in a few seconds, so you know, it's not the end of the world, but I wasn't expecting it to be that painful. I really wasn't. Once they insert that in you, then they basically they gotta start monitoring you and the baby. So they monitor you, the baby, like his heartbeat, for half an hour usually. If they're happy with it, then that's it. If they're not happy with it, if they want to make sure, you know, everything is fine, or if your baby is asleep, they monitor you for longer, so they can see his heartbeat during his wake hours. They monitored the baby, everything was fine, and then they told me they would be monitoring the baby every 4 hours, and they'll be monitoring me, so my blood pressure, check my temperature, and I believe every 4 hours as well. Which, this makes it really hard to sleep at night, because at one point, like, there's so many different people coming in and out of the room to check you, because they don't monitor everything at once. Like, now this person comes to monitor this, now that person comes to monitor that. So you don't have chunks of 4 hours to sleep. No, it's like you got 2 hours maximum. They always come in to monitor something, which, you know, they have to do it. I'm happy that they're doing it. But yeah, it's a bit exhausting. So you're supposed to have this strip for 24 hours, and then if you haven't gone into labor by then they'll take it out and they will give you something else. And that's what happened to me. So when they first inserted, like, I didn't see any difference, but then this was, as I said, Thursday evening. Throughout the night, I slept fine. Didn't sleep much though, because obviously there's always people coming in and out, and like I said, like, the other couple came back in the middle of the night as well. Like, there's always something happening, so it's quite hard to sleep in a hospital, I'll say that. And the pillow, it's so uncomfortable. Like, please tell me, like, is it only me? Like, the pillow they gave me, it's so thin. I was missing my pillows so much, and I had just bought new pillows for my house, and they're like hotel quality almost, and it's just like, oh, I hated those pillows. I really hated those pillows, but you know, that's another story. So yeah, that evening I was perfectly fine, the same with that night, but then the next day I was slowly, like, my hips, kind of like that area was hurting, and I was just like, you know, I was walking around the hospital, because obviously that helps as well with going into labor, walking a lot. It started to get harder and harder to walk, and then Friday evening, like at about the 24-hour mark, they take out the strip. Now I was scared because the strip hurt like hell coming in, but it didn't hurt coming out. So if you're scared of that, it doesn't hurt coming out at all. It's just, you know, it's just pulling something out. It's nothing So I take that out and they check again, and I'm still just 1 centimeter dilated. So, you know, they asked me if I want to proceed to the next thing with it, which is a gel. So they insert a gel in the same place they inserted the strip, but the gel, you put it in, I think, every 6 hours, I believe. And, you know, so we go forward with that. They put on the gel, and this was at about 5:30 p.m. okay, because this is when it's important. This is 5:30 p.m. Friday afternoon, and this is where it starts to go wrong. So they put the gel, and I started having like really small contractions. Like, it's not that painful, it was just a little bit uncomfortable. Obviously then it starts getting more and more painful, but it wasn't like crazy, okay? It, like, anyone could have gone through that. As soon as they put the gel in, they start monitoring the baby because they want to make sure, the same way with the strip, he doesn't have like a bad reaction to it. Well, our baby had a bad reaction to it. His heartbeat just went absolutely nuts. We got used to see his heartbeat like throughout a whole day. We knew what the normal values were. Everything was registered, the midwives could see it, and it just went really up to levels that they consider, you know, not normal. It's too high for, you know, a baby, you know, inside the womb. I don't know. I don't know how to say this. I would say 6 p.m. the latest. It's when we found out his heartbeat is going crazy. Now this is dinner time. So they bring my dinner. So I haven't eaten anything since 1 p.m. This is also very important because this is when it starts going wrong. So I haven't eaten anything since 1 p.m. They bring my dinner at 6 p.m. But the midwife tells me I shouldn't eat until his heartbeat stabilizes, because worst case scenarios, we will need an emergency C-section if he doesn't like go back to normal. If you get a C-section, you're supposed to be on an empty-ish belly, stomach. Dinner comes and goes. I don't even touch it, right? Because we start monitoring the baby. And as I told you, they monitor for about half an hour. Thank you, Levi. Good boy. They start monitoring for half an hour and they realize the heartbeat is up. So they monitor for another half an hour. Then they tell me turn left and monitor for half an hour. Then they tell me turn right and monitor for half an hour. Let's go up again at like another half an hour. And it just keeps on going, right? It just keeps on going and going and going. And I'm having contractions. It gets to a point that the midwife's like, right, we need a doctor. We have to wait because it was the change of shift. So we have to wait like an hour for a doctor to come. And when the doctor finally comes, she's already dressed, bless her, with her clothes to go home. Like clearly, like she was ready to go home. So she came, and with her came the doctor that would be in charge for the night as well. So they come, and the doctor that was about to leave to go home, she says they should give me an injection to stop contractions because my contractions are getting more and more. But the baby's heartbeat keeps going up and up, and you know they're not happy with that. So they said, let's stop the process. Let's give me an injection to stop contractions, to cancel like the gel basically. And if that doesn't work, give me a second injection. And if that doesn't work, then we need an emergency C-section. So we agreed to that. So they give me one injection. And my contractions stop, and this little guy is still struggling. So they give me a second injection. This little guy is still struggling. And then we ask, like, they take a long time to come and monitor us again. Like, my partner has to go and call the midwives because now it's nighttime, there's not a lot of staff. So, and another lady has gone to labor as well. So, you know, we are getting busy here. So my partner has to go chase the midwives has to go chase the doctors, and it takes a long time for that second doctor to come. So the doctor that was in charge for nighttime to finally come and say, all right, we are doing an emergency C-section. Now, it's already 11 p.m. and this is what frustrates me. My baby has been struggling since 6 p.m. till 11 p.m. and I'm not happy. You know, I'm not happy because I'm concerned. I don't want to lose this baby. I don't want him to have a heart attack. I don't want him to have any issues. I want him to come perfect. They finally agreed to the C-section. We moved to the labor ward, and in the labor ward, they made me sign some papers. Like, it's so freakishly fast. Like, it's so fast. They make you sign this paper and that paper, and then this professional comes and explains you what they're gonna do, and then another professional comes and they explain what they're gonna do, and like, it's really, really fast. My partner's like, because everything was going so slowly till now, and my partner was like, I don't know what we're doing here. Like, what is happening now? Like, this is like an out-of-body experience, because all of a sudden just speed, you know, and it's just. And I'm the same, I'm just like signing everything. I'm just like, you know, just get this baby out. With all this, boom, 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 we're not even looking at the monitoring of the baby. But apparently, when we got to the labor ward, the baby started to go into more normal value. So still not his normal heartbeat, but it's like in the line of normal heartbeat and dangerous heartbeat kind of thing, right? So it's just there. It's a very blurred line. So then the doctor comes and says, right, it seems like the baby's coming down, so we're not going to do the C-section. This was 11:30. And we're like, what do you mean? Like, we're ready? My partner is dressed, like they give him scrubs. I have everything ready. We're both ready. The team is ready. The whole team is there. When the doctor says that, you can see the other professionals are not happy. They're like they did all of this for nothing. Like, and we're like, no, we want the C-section. Like, it's still not his normal heartbeat. I was like, yeah, but he's getting back to normal, so we can monitor for a little bit longer, but it's not an emergency anymore. Like, it's not really high levels. But we said, no, we want him out. Like, we want him out now, because I can't go to sleep not knowing what if. There's all these what ifs in your head. But this is where they screw us, really, and I was not happy. So the doctor said, well, you want a C-section, but I don't see it as an emergency C-section. This is now an elective C-section, and we don't do that during the night. We have a team for emergency C-sections, and I could not have them do a C-section because you want it and someone coming from an emergency. I kind of get the logic, but at the same time, this baby's been stressing since 6 p.m. for over 5 hours, and it's just gonna leave him there throughout the night. She said we can just go back at 8 a.m. and you can ask for a C-section then. Like, that's just wild to me. Like, that was wild. We were both so upset. I was so hungry because at this point I haven't eaten in 10 hours, and I'm someone that I would eat every 2 to 3 hours if I could. So we were very upset, like, with the whole experience. This hasn't finished. And I think this is such a long video. I am so sorry, but I think I'm going to do a part 2 because this is such a long video. So if you want to keep watching, follow me, subscribe, and I'll be posting a part 2. Oh gosh, I never had to do this. It's such a long story, I'm sorry. So yeah, so we'll do part 2, which is just the final hours, but it's still long final hours, so just follow me.